Welcome to 108 Gate, where we are looking at current feminine energies. Looking at the current feminine energies. Seeing a like a silhouette or an image of a person standing, observing, and with their hands on the hips. So it's not so much of a judgmental kind of cross, angry, annoyed, hands on the hips. It's more of a standing, observing, and just holding the stance as in like, what is going on? Very interesting perspective. Right, so health. Focus on all parts to make the whole. So health seems to be... Okay, so that energy I mentioned about watching something, observing something, and feeling like what is going on, like chaos coming around, possibly things being a bit higgledy-piggledy, being a bit weird, being a bit strange, random things, unexplainable things happening, kind of confusing if you allow it to be, but just kind of stepping back and focusing on your health and well-being. So to sustain good health and well-being is making sure that one is not getting pulled into some of the weirdness and the some of the energies that are going to be flying around quite substantially in the next, I'd say, next few days, or when you come to this reading. If you're being pulled into other people's weirdness, other people's stories, other people's hang-ups, other people's distress, stress, burdens, worries, and they're pulling you in and pinning you into, accompanying them into this stressful place where you have no place to be, you have no need to be. You've already done your work in a lot of these areas, and it could be that you're being held onto like a raft, like a lifeboat, like a safety ring. I'm seeing like the ring being thrown into the water, and then someone kind of like holding on to you, so you're being thrown into the water. Now saying that, it's like that sacrificial lamb thing. Is like, well, you're all good, you're all well, so you have the capacity to help me. Why don't you help me then? Because you're okay. But what they don't understand is you've had to work through some difficult situations, through some difficult things to get the confidence that you have now. You've had to sustain a certain level of equilibrium within yourself to be where you are right now. So don't be surprised if you have certain people coming in and holding on, and they're not intentionally pulling you down. Not all of them, not most of them, but they are initially thinking that, well, you're okay, so I can come and lean on you, I can come and hang off you, I can come and use whatever it is that you're doing for my own benefit. Not the case. Not the case, buddy. Not that you don't want to help, not that you want to hurt anyone, but this is okay. There was something I was reading this morning about burnout and that. So not necessarily about this is not necessarily about burnout, but it is linked to a certain energy that's coming up. So some burnout comes in from childhood patterns of needing to please people, being the good child, and making sure that you're doing whatever other people say, no matter how much it's hurting you, no matter how much it's detrimental to you, because you are seeking that pleasing mode. You're seeking that acceptance, that love, that appreciation, that acknowledgement that you exist kind of deal. When that's not dealt with in the adult, in the childhood mode, it's now reflecting in certain places in the adult place. Sorry, in the adult space, it's not going to be beneficial. So now, it wasn't beneficial as a child, but now it's taken its toll even more so, because it's been happening for so long, if it's still happening. Therefore, the health at the top makes so much more sense. making sure you are looking after your health. And one of these methods may be to draw a line under certain things like people pleasing, or pleasing people, should I say, because people pleasing, I get it, but it's not exactly the same as trying to please people. Essentially, what it boils down to is recognising that we pretty much can't please people. If you think about examples of, as a child, who were you pleasing or trying to please, who was never actually satisfied, is usually the people you're trying to please. King of Swords coming in just in the nick of time, getting some clarity around this and bringing an end to some of these patterns. Perfect timing with the configuration we have going on right now. I should actually have, hopefully if I open my laptop, will I see the chart? I should have that open more often while I'm doing the readings. Bear with me, my apologies. Maybe I'll have it ready for the masculine reading. Anyway, so pleasing people, they can't be pleased all the time, and when they are pleased, then it's an indicator of, well, what more can you do for me? What more can I get from this person? What more? I said it the other day, give somebody a centimetre, they'll take an inch. You give them an inch, they'll take a mile. You give them a mile, they'll take whatever. They'll just keep going. They're never satiated, they're never satisfied, but you can be. Drawing that line with confidence and being able to get your own wheel moving in your own direction, wheel of fortune moving for your fortune to pour in an even keel way, in a way that's beneficial to you. The confidence increasing will allow you to then feel that you are able to shake it up a bit, and you've got this is what it's saying. So the clarity that needs to come in basically around this is which people were you trying to please? Why were you trying to please them? What was the outcome? And where does that relationship stand now? What is their reaction to you? What is their thing with you now? What is the dynamics now with you and them? Do you have a more assertive way of drawing a line under what they're doing with the King of Swords? Or do you still have some lingering guilt even, or lingering doubts of what you're doing? Now, it has to be brought to an end. I'm going to get another clarifier for that, because that was coming in as there's still some that you're going to find. There's evidence of some people still taking the mick, still taking advantage of you, still treating you as if you're gullible and naive. The difference is you're not gullible and naive, and your awareness now means that you also can't cheat yourself. You need to please yourself and actually honour that you are aware of this by actually saying, this is not acceptable anymore. It doesn't even have to be said in so much words, it has to be done, it has to be applied. So if someone was in particular somebody that you needed to please, or you felt like you had to please, or they led you to think, feel, believe that you had to please them, and you're still doing it on some level, even some level, you've made progress, you're not doing it as much, but they still pop up and expect it from you. This needs to be brought to an end. An end. It can't continue anymore. This is the kind of thing of like, if you've been given a great way of cleaning glass or a mirror, and everything is clean, is pristine. There's no smear. There's no smudges or anything like that. But there's this one smudge there. And that one smudge, all you can do is keep looking at that smudge. You need to now clean that smudge. That smudge is the person trying to hold back onto you, trying to reclaim you, trying to reattach to you, trying to bring you down. And not trying to, isn't there, intending to, but indirectly, some maybe directly or indirectly, someone is bringing you down, is pulling you down, or has done in the past. And you can't let that happen in the future, because this is not just bringing you down. This is, you've got to the top of a mountain. As an example, it's as if you get to the top of a mountain and just that one flick of your foot or just one flick at the ankle pulls somebody right down to the bottom of the hill again, bottom of the mountain again. Boom, 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 boom. Once the catapult is like releases the stone is going and going to hit the target. You can't stop it once they've reattached. So you need to make sure that this is cut and done. Done, done, done. So let's keep going, and I said I was going to get a clarifying thing for this. There you go, grounding into what you need to do for yourself. The beginning is where you need to be, the beginning of the end, the beginning of ending this, and then the end of ending this, therefore a new beginning. I hope that made sense. I know it made sense. It just sometimes I feel like my words come out so quick at times I can't even hear what I'm saying. Anyway, that's the nature of the place that we're in right now. So it's got to end. It's got to end. You may be surprised at some of the stuff that comes up. So 8 of Swords. Again, okay, so I'm trying to find another energy in it, but it keeps coming up as the same energy as it did the other day. So you've got the 4 swords that are intact, and then you've got 4 swords that are broken up in pieces. So there's certain things that you have brought down, that you have, but the crumbled pieces are still there. If the crumbled pieces weren't there, there'd be 4 swords, but there's 8 swords. 4 of them are crumbled. The crumbled pieces are still there. There's 4 more that you may be using as a defense. There's 4 that may have been coming in as attack. This is the reading of the card. In this particular reading, it's not always it's not always the energy of 8 of Swords, but this is what it is right now. So 4 are coming in intact. That feels like it's more of your defense. It's intact. It's getting stronger. It's crumbling this stuff that was coming in as attack. But the thing is, those remnants, the residue of that is still hanging around. This is the kind of thing that brings in possible anxiety, stress, burnout as an adult. So all of those things as a childhood thing that are being obliterated, they are being taken out, they are being cut and released, they are being processed, they are being seen to and healed. Now the remnants need to come out. They really need to be so far part of the past that you don't even think of them anymore, that you don't feel them anymore. People can say something, do something, and it doesn't even touch you. You don't budge, you don't flinch, you don't react, you don't respond. You just like meh. I haven't said that in such a long time. That felt so weird, but it felt so good too, and it felt good too. There you go. Magic. Bring in the magician. Bring in the rest of it. Just clean this mamby-pamby stuff out. If they've got issues and they still can't hold themselves, it's not about being unkind. It's not about being inconsiderate. It's a matter of you understanding you had to find the strength and courage from somewhere to be able to jump over the hurdles that you did, to be able to hold your head up still when others were just clawing at you. You had to find it from somewhere. So now is that person's place, is that person's time, is those people's time, those people's place to now find that courage and strength from somewhere. It's a matter of, it sounds a bit strange on some level, but some of you will understand like what I'm trying to get at. But it still will sound strange. It's a matter of evolution. If you can't emotionally evolve yourself, you can't emotionally let go of that element of trying to please people without recognizing that they just will not be pleased. There's certain people you can give a small daisy to, and you can see the glee and the joy and the love and the appreciation and gratitude in their heart. It's not that it's a small daisy, it's the gesture of giving something, of taking the time to see it, thinking of that person, picking it and giving it them a daisy. Whereas this other kind of person, you can give them everything that you possibly have and they still won't be satisfied. That's the difference. They need to stop. This needs to move along. Keep the wheel moving, keep progressing. Don't let them stop you. You don't need to please them. They will not be pleased ever. They just won't. They don't know how to please themselves. They don't know how to satiate themselves. They don't know how to get that healthy gratification. So just constantly clawing at anyone else to feed. Technically like an energy vampire, I guess. And a vampire mutant. Sorry. It was just something really back down. So the swords, 4 swords of defense, 4 swords of attack. The attack have been obliterated, but the remnants are still there. Therefore, 8 swords are still there. The battle still ensues. The conflict still ensues until you bring in the magic of the magician. Start utilizing all those things you know and you feel and you trust in that are ethical, are safe to use, and won't have any reverberations. They're not intended for any harm. They're not creating any harm. It's not with ill intention. It's all with good intention, ethical, safe and sound. And you're simply retracting yourself from their muck. You're just taking yourself out of their own weird cycles that they need to work with. They need to work with. You're simply bringing an end to them pulling you down. You're bringing an end to, you're grounding yourself in a more humble, wholesome, healthy space for yourself. You're not getting pulled up and out into their chaos, into their mayhem, into their narcissism on some level. For some of them, not all of them. That is a word that used to get thrown around a lot more than it does now, but be careful with these labels is my point. 5 of Cups. So usually you've got 3 up and 2 down. Here you've got a bit of spilt, whatever, but you're okay. You can keep going. You're refilling your cups. That 1 is looking as though it's filled. The 4 are standing up, ready to be filled. Rejuvenate, recuperate, renovate, recollect yourself, reconnect with yourself, do all of those things, reclaim your power, reclaim your happiness, reclaim your skills, reclaim your resources, reclaim who you are. Absolutely fantastic reading. And then you've got the 7 of Cups. As you reclaim who you are, you're going to see all these different options coming in, all these different potential opportunities, potential choices, decisions. Not all of them are for you, but the difference is, instead of seeing the cups that had spilt over, you're now seeing that, not focusing on other people's stuff. They're not even your cups that have fallen over half the time. Now you can focus on seeing where the opportunity is, and as you see that and get rid of more of these deliberately, at one point, were deliberately stopping you from receiving opportunities that actually feel like they're blocking you receiving opportunities. So now your defense can get rid of that, clear that out, to be able to see your opportunities, to be able to be receptive to your opportunities, and then decide which ones are for you, decide which ones resonate with you, decide which ones you may have had to pass up on in the past because you didn't have certain things in place, or somebody took them from you, or whatever it is. Reclaim it, restand, and there you go. Don't be surprised, therefore, if as you're doing this, that some people, some energies, some people, some things may want to come in and disrupt it for you. They may come in even more forceful, behaving as though they're entitled to have your 100% attention. They're entitled to take what you have worked for. They're entitled to this, they're entitled to that. Nearly said a colourful word. Don't need to be doing with that. Don't need to be having that. You need to make sure the King of Swords is bringing an end to this. It's going to be interesting to go into the masculine energy regarding this. Feminine energy is definitely preparing for a particular kind of battle, preparing for a particular kind of defense strategy, defense mechanism, and to be doing it in a way with some dignity, with humility, with grace. I don't know. I feel like I want to talk about some defense mechanisms that Freud discusses here, but maybe this is not the time or place. You let me know in the bottom. I don't know. Maybe I can do separate readings for different defense mechanisms and how to work through them. Let me know what you think. Utilise our resources. For now, peace and love, and see you in the masculine reading.